Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fanatics, and anyone who's ever had to say goodbye to a very smiley friend, gather round. Because Luis Diaz, bless his heart, is finally leaving Anfield. And if his fiance's social media tribute felt like a goodbye, well, turns out it was less a sentimental farewell and more a highly coordinated, perfectly timed transfer announcement. Who needs a press conference when you have Instagram, right? Yes, Lucho is off to Bayern Munich for a cool 75 million euros. That's right. He spent 3.5 years dazzling defenders, smiling his way through training. Jurgen Klopp loved that apparently, and delivering 41 goals in 148 appearances. He was so impactful, he bamboozled a defender and set up a goal 10 minutes into his debut. He was a fan favorite. He was Lucho. And now, he's just at another very expensive transfer fee. 1. The instant impact. Or, how Lucho stole our hearts briefly. Diaz's arrival in January 2022 was an instant hit. Klopp loved his smile. Probably because it meant one less player complaining about gegenpressing drills. He even moved Sadio Mane into the center just to accommodate Lucho on the left. Think about that. A legendary striker, shunted aside for a guy who just arrived and smiled a lot. That's power, people. He started all 3 finals in 2021-2022, as Liverpool won domestic cups but agonizingly lost the Premier League by a point in the Champions League final in Paris. Ah, Paris. The city of love, and also the city where Liverpool's dreams went to die, again. He even suffered a knee injury the following season. But in 2023-2024, he was back, influencing the Carabao Cup win, and providing us with the relief of his father being safely returned after an ordeal. Because nothing screams football legacies like a dramatic hostage crisis, right? Klopp loved his smile, probably thought it was a new tactical innovation. Smile at the opponent, confuse them, then score. He bamboozled the defender 10 minutes into his debut. That defender probably still has nightmares about a blur of red and a very happy face. Moving Mane to the center for Diaz is like telling your star actor they're now playing a tree. Diaz had that kind of instant charisma. Starting 3 finals in 21-20 seconds means he was practically living in a suit, or a tracksuit. Probably a tracksuit. The hostage situation adds a layer of football dramas that no Netflix series could ever script. It's too real even for us. 2. The end product debate and Slot's false 9 experiment. For all the dazzling approach play, there was at times a lack of end product. Translation: he ran a lot, looked amazing, but sometimes forgot where the goal was. But fear not. Arne Slot, the tactical wizard, arrived last summer and immediately set about improving that by getting Diaz on the ball in more central areas. Yes, the man who brought us total football also brings us Luis Diaz, the central experiment, and it worked. A first professional hat-trick against Bayer Leverkusen as a false 9 last November. He scored twice against Tottenham in a 6-3 demolition, because Spurs gonna Spurs and Man United. He even equalized against Spurs on the title-winning day. His 17 goals in all competitions was his best return, and only Mohamed Salah scored more league goals, so the end product arrived, just in time for him to leave. Lack of end product is football speak for he's fantastic, but sometimes he forgets to kick it into the net. Slot's solution: put the winger in the middle. It's genius, no one will see it coming, except everyone who's watched football for 5 minutes. A hat-trick as a false 9. He probably spent the first half confused about where he was supposed to be, then just started scoring out of sheer desperation. He scored against Spurs in a 6-3 demolition. Spurs must dread playing Liverpool. It's like their annual therapy session, but with more goals conceded. He peaked just before leaving. Classic X move, like upgrading your wardrobe right after a breakup. 3. The Bayern betrayal or pragmatic business decision. Now you might think sanctioning the exit of such a popular figure at his peak is questionable, but when you dig deeper it makes more sense. Translation: it's all about the money, honey. Diaz turned down new contracts because there was too big a gap between what he wanted and what the club would offer. He'd wanted a new challenges 12 months ago, probably when Barcelona came sniffing, because who doesn't want to play for Barcelona when they're in financial meltdown? Liverpool reluctantly did business, knowing his value would drop considerably if they kept him. So sporting director Richard Hughes basically pulled off a financial magic trick, 75 million euros for a 28-year-old who cost 49 million euros and gave great service. That's less a goodbye, more a highly profitable garage sale. Diaz wanted a new challenge, and that challenge was apparently getting a massive pay rise in Germany. Too big a gap between what he wanted and what Liverpool offered. That gap was probably filled with euros, and Bayern had more of them. Liverpool's stance remained in place until Bayern added more zeros to the offer. Money talks, and apparently it screams in German. Hughes ensured they pocketed 75 million euros. He probably celebrated by swimming in a vault of money like Scrooge McDuck. The parting was respectful. Code for "we got our money, he got his move." No one threw a tantrum on social media. 4. The left side conundrum and Nunes's Saudi adventure. So, who replaces Lucho on the left? Liverpool believe they have sufficient left-sided cover already in place, which is code for "we hope Cody Gakpo kicks on." And we just signed Hugo Ekitike, who can apparently play everywhere. Plus we have a 16-year-old prodigy we don't want to block his pathway. Yes, Rio Ngumoha, who isn't even 17 for another month, has lit up pre-season. So basically Liverpool is putting their hopes on a teenager who can't even legally drive. What could go wrong? And speaking of exits, Darwin Nunes has ongoing interest from Saudi Pro League teams. Because if you can't consistently hit the target in the Premier League, why not get paid obscene amounts of money to do it in the desert? Sufficient left-sided cover usually means we're winging it and hoping for the best. Ekitike can operate off that flank as well as through the middle, so he's basically a footballing chameleon, but less graceful. Rio Ngumoha, not even 17, is lighting up pre-season. Let's hope he doesn't burn out by Christmas like every other pre-season phenom. Nunes to Saudi Arabia. It's the ultimate change of scenery's move when your finishing needs a spiritual intervention. Federico Chiesa continues to be linked with a return to Italy, because apparently Italy is where all the lost strikers go to find themselves. 5. The legacy and the future. When good isn't legendaries enough. In terms of his legacy, Diaz never consistently hit the heights of Salah, Mane, or Firmino. He belongs on the next rung down. So, he was great. Just not legendary's great. He's the guy who always brought a fantastic side dish to the potluck, but never the main course. He wanted security of a big pay rise across a long-term contract stretching into his early 30s. Because apparently being a beloved, highly paid footballer at Liverpool isn't secure enough. He and his wife Gara are off to Munich to start a new chapter. He'll be missed in the dressing room, especially by the close-knit South American contingent, which means his teammates will miss his smile, but probably not his tendency to shoot from impossible angles. He's guaranteed the warmest of receptions if he returns to Anfield with Bayern, which, let's be honest, will only happen if Bayern needs to get rid of him for a profit. And remember, when a player leaves at his peak, it's always for the money or a new challenge. Closing thoughts. The circle of football life. So, what do you think of Luis Diaz's Liverpool exit? A smart piece of business? A sentimental loss? Or just another example of how modern football treats players like very expensive trading cards? Let us know in the comments below. Smash that like button and subscribe for more football analysis that probably makes no sense to anyone outside of this channel. And remember, even when a player leaves with smiles and farewell tributes, it's usually because someone else offered more cash. See you next time.